You know, for the sweet, caring, laid-back, good guy that Greg is, he's also kind of a loser. But he's a loser that you really love to like because you see he's trying and never beaten down with negative thoughts. He's not an alcoholic. He's not mean-spirited. He's not even bitter about his life like a lot of people in his position would be. Greg's just kind of lost and broken, but he's attempting to take lemons and make lemonade. And not that Greg was doing great things before, but he's really stuck in life at the point where Rose left him, and I worry that there's no winning scenario for him. So let's talk about Greg. First, a viewer sent me a question that I'd like to take a crack at. Cricket for the Stars on YouTube basically asked, why was Greg bald in his infamous hot dog photo with Rose, since Greg didn't go bald in the series until Steven was older? Since I've seen that picture, it's always struck me as fake. There is a lot of art in the Steven universe that revolves around Rose. She has a painting in Steven's house. Her, I think that's called an oasis, had statues of herself. There's even this framed piece that cannot be a photograph because color photographs wouldn't have existed in the era this picture seems to be set in. And it could be a staged image from one of those old-timey photo kiosks in the mall. But when you look at the guy in the water, Garnet punching the shark, and everyone else's expression in general, it doesn't come off like a staged photo. So the only other logical explanation is that it's a painting made to recount the deeds of the Crystal Gems adventure, if memory serves, the one about Captain Dewey founding Beach City. That's why Rose is so stoic here, and why her eyes are closed, like they are in every other work of art that depicts her. I'm going to go out on a limb here, but given Pearl's artistic nature, I believe she's making all of these images and statues. And the closed eyes are the trademark of Pearl's art that she started to keep the memory of Rose alive. If it's not Pearl, Rose has a big ego of herself, and so far from what we've seen, Rose hasn't struck me as that type of vain. Again, this is just a guesstimate, but I think Rose was so powerful to Pearl that looking Rose in the eyes is too hard, painful, and emotional for Pearl to do. So she chooses to always keep the eyes closed so that the image of Rose is less real, I guess. When Pearl projects the hologram of Rose, she starts crying, so the wound is still fresh. It makes sense that Pearl wouldn't want to look Rose in the eyes even if it wasn't really Rose, it was just art of Rose. If we look at the hieroglyphic style painting of Rose where she's fighting who we assume is White Diamond, we can see Rose's eyes are wide open there, so someone is choosing to keep Rose blind in all these works of art. What does this have to do with the Greg photo? Well, Greg is an impulsive guy, and I would bet that he never took a photo with Rose before he lost her. You don't think about these things in the moment when you're happy, and he had a video camera, so maybe he felt like that was enough at the time. Actually, I doubt the camera even belonged to Greg, since he was always broke and mooched on people like Vidalia. Side note, I hope Greg comes in with his millions and does a little something nice for Vidalia, buy her a bunch of cereal or a new washing machine or something to thank her for her years of help. But Rose probably borrowed the video camera from someone for a few days to make the message for Steven, in which case that was the only recording of Greg and Rose together, so I think at some point near the present timeline, Greg wanted a picture of himself and Rose together. I'd say it was after Steven moved in with the Crystal Gems, because Greg would have been feeling particularly alone then, and Greg saw a painting or statue or the like of Rose and just took a selfie. Notice how tight the photo is around the subjects? Anyone taking that photo would have panned back a little bit to fit more of them in there, so it really looks to me, as someone who's a professional photographer, that Greg snapped this photo himself, which would explain why the shot is not very good, and it might cover why Greg's eyes are full of both love and sadness. If he were really with Rose in the moment, I don't think he would look so hurt. And that's what Greg's expression looks like to me. It's like he's looking at a memorial remembering the good times. So that's why Greg is bald in the photo when he had a head full of hair when Steven was born. That's why Rose's eyes are closed. That's why her hair is curled a little too tightly and her face is a little too square. Because it's not Rose, just another replica that Pearl had created and left out. And Greg just took note of it one day while waiting for Steven to come home. Look, I know this is overthinking it, but here's another reason why this is a flat image that Greg is standing in front of. The light source from our point of view is coming from the top left. So Greg's shadow goes across Rose's chest. Now, Rose has quite a large bosom, and this is a flat shadow. It should bevel around her chest like it would her hair. So Greg is standing in front of a flat image here, and it's not really Rose. And I think Greg reached out to take a selfie with a piece of art and likely stuck the hot dog in his mouth because he needed 2 hands to get a clear shot. And that's that. So can Greg have a future? Well, he'll never be able to succeed no matter what he does. If he goes after a real job or if he pursues his music career, he'll have to leave Beach City because it's a dead-end tourist town. Luckily, Greg hit the jackpot and got rich quick, so he doesn't have to worry about money anymore. But even touring again would be out of the question because the crystal gems won't give up Steven, and Greg, admirably, wouldn't leave without Steven. Then we have the issue of romance, which gets even more difficult for Greg. He still loves Rose, he still mourns her and misses her greatly. And I think a large part of that is because he can't really move on. I mean, how can you move on after Rose Quartz? Who could compare? And what do you say to Steven when you start dating someone else? Dating might make Greg less lonely, but it would likely turn all the crystal gems against him for getting over Rose. Pearl would see it as the ultimate insult that Greg essentially took Rose away from Pearl and now he's with someone else like Rose doesn't matter. That would just create more animosity, more difficulty, and Greg is all about a low maintenance chill. So it appears to me that Greg has resolved to just be alone. And that's probably a good thing in a way, because the kind of woman okay with a guy that lives in a van is probably not a great catch herself. Plus, any woman who came into the picture now that Greg has money, would be a suspected gold digger no matter how nice she might be. So yeah, I'm fairly confident that Greg will be pining away after Rose for the rest of his life. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to like, subscribe, and share this video. I've also got a lot of other videos on my channel that you are fully encouraged to go check out. Plus, you can find me on Facebook at Say Halo Goodbye, which is my gamer tag, or Twitter at _Fanily.